Primo is one of my favorites of all time. You know, I've learned so much from Primo before I knew him and after I knew him. I would actually compose music and I would basically synthesize the production perspectives of Primo within what I was doing in music. So on my Something About April album, there's a song called Midnight Blue. And that song to me was supposed to be Ennio Morricone composing a song with Primo, more specifically reinterpolating Primo's song that he created for J. Rue called Ain't the Devil Happy. It was a mix between old Italian cinema with grimy 90s hip hop with that Primo foundation. So I've always created a lot of tracks from the Primo perspective. When Michael Herard, and A&R at Shady, put the idea together that Primo should create an album sampling me exclusively, it was a little more than a dream come true. It was just something that just didn't make too much sense because, come on, like Primo sampling one dude, you know, with Royce on it. Royce, okay? Royce the 5'9", one of the illest. Something like that. I mean, that's a really dope idea, but I mean, come on, you know. Royce was pushing Primo like, yo, you need to do it. Because Royce knew, Primo knew about my work with Ghost. He knew about Black Dynamite, but he really didn't know who I was at that time as a person. He just knew about the works I created. Primo did one song. Then he did another song. Then he did another song. He's like, yo, I could actually do it. Because Primo didn't want to do it at first. Because if Primo is sampling one person, he's limited. The issue is, well, why should he be limited? He's Primo. Why if he's making music, why should he be limited to one thing? And then with him getting into my music, he started realizing the layers, the breaks that were specifically placed in the music for a hip hop producer to sample. He started realizing that. And he just started getting into it till he made a full album. A memorable moment in the PRhyme sessions for me was me actually me meeting Primo for the first time, and we totally hit it off because I'm just blown away. I'm in D&D Studios. I'm just picking his brain on so many things, and he's just showing me like the original SP discs for like Biggie tracks or like Nas track. I'm like, yo, it showed me like the Come Clean little disc. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me, bro? You kidding me right now? He's showing me his stuff and I'm just going crazy. So, I mean, we just totally hit off. But like I said, when you're meeting people like that, because you're like-minded and you know so much, your relationship starts somewhere. And plus, Primo's been communicating to me a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And then it just so happened that I started communicating to him with my music as well. And then we met and we already had a certain relationship. So it was just there. We met at D&D Studios and, you know, we just talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And it was really at that point he told me that he really, really wanted to do this whole album with me because he understood me as a person and understood my music a little better at that time. So our next meeting was at his studio to play me the PRhyme stuff that he did with Royce. So it was weird because his demeanor was a little different. Primo's a really funny dude, you know, funny guy. But he was a little reserved, you know, and he was in the studio and he played something. He played the first song, PRhyme, the actual song PRhyme. He started playing the intro and it came in, and 10 seconds in I said, dude, stop. And he looked at me, I was like, start that over, bro. This shit's blowing my mind. And it's like, at that point, he just released. And what he told me was that he was like, yo, I was afraid to actually be playing this stuff for you because he liked it a lot, Royce liked it a lot, but in his head, he didn't know what I would think of it. And I'm like, dude, like, you're blowing my mind. I just broke down to him all the reasons why all this stuff was just blowing my mind. I mean, just from his sample perspective to me making stuff as if Primo was in the studio with me 3 years prior, and then him actually sampling that stuff to make new music. I was like, yo, you're sampling yourself. You realize that, right? And like, we're just going back, we're just having this dialogue back and forth and just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So that whole session was him just being loose with me, me just having my mind blown, I told him too, I was like, it's crazy that you're nervous to play me stuff. That's just, I'm still trying to take that in. Primo, what you don't understand is that I'm nervous because I don't want you to make garbage. Because you're, if you're one of my favorites, bro. And like, if you're sampling my stuff and I don't like it, like, how am I gonna tell you that? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be honest. So I was coming in this thing a little afraid because I don't know what's gonna happen. I expect you to do dope stuff. I don't expect you to come off whack ever. However, I know there is a chance that it might not be up to par for me, because I made a lot of this music for somebody of your stature to make a derivative version of. So me getting my mind blown right now, we're both just going back and forth and we're just like, holy shit. What are people gonna think when they hear this, So that really strengthened our bond at that time. And I mean, with Royce being the backbone of this whole thing as well, man, it just really made everything just beautiful.
Winning on him, niggas was jumping from tables, from dressers onto his back, doing wrestling moves on him.
So our saxophone player got fired by Mr. Brown. He couldn't play on the song, so he was just standing there like, okay, I guess I won't play. So at that time, like, me and Raphael was just like, oh God, is he gonna tell us not to play?
And those new obstacles that I'm more concerned about are minority competition. Less about being oppressed by the majority and more about minorities having conflict within themselves.
We've been just recording and filming our journey because I was always just a filmaholic. I was always just film, which now I'm glad I've been doing it because we have hundreds of tapes.